Orcit. What is it good for? I'd like to talk to you about Orcit. It's an EU-funded, open access, online resource for conference interpreter training. And what we've done is try to take a consensus from international best practice in conference interpreter training and isolate the different skills so that wherever you are physically, geographically around the world, if you have an internet connection, you can access the modules from the bookshelf that take you through the different skills you need in order to become a conference interpreter. Orcit can be used in a variety of different ways and at different times under the control of the user. So you can have the flipped classroom where the student looks up some introductions to different skills or looks up some ideas before actually putting them into practice in the classroom. But the student can also go away and reinforce ideas, refresh them after the class. And a professional interpreter can also come back to it. For instance, when adding a language or preparing for a test, you might want to refresh some of your skills. And people designing new interpreting courses can also draw upon the clear sequential pedagogical structure to help them with their curriculum design. Orcit takes you through the various skills that you need as an interpreter. It's such a complex process that it's helpful to break it down into the component parts. So we go through listening and analysis, the importance of one's mother tongue, public speaking skills, keeping calm under pressure, doing consecutive without notes before moving on to the introduction to note-taking, and then of course we go through various stages of simultaneous skills, as well as research skills and how to give good feedback. So none of this can replace what you do in the classroom, and the word feedback is a good one to pick up on, for instance, that's something where Orcit won't be commenting on how you're doing as you go along. You need to be working with other people and with a skilled trainer who can advise what online resources to use at any particular stage, but it will hopefully make a useful contribution to your training. We started by creating resources in the English language at the University of Leeds, but they've now been localized into French, German, Spanish, Greek, Czech, Lithuanian and Slovene. And when I say localized, it has been a very interesting and eye-opening process, both for the linguists and trainers amongst us and for the e-learning technologists and others who've got involved in the project. We had to learn from each other about what the others needed, because of course it's not something that you can just translate. We had to localize so that the examples work in each language. And one silly example is that at one point the English version referred to something being a red herring, and we had a picture of a red herring on the screen. And of course in other languages the image of a red herring doesn't mean anything, so not only did we have to localize the example of how you describe something which is irrelevant in that language and in that culture, but we also had to find something else to put on the screen to replace the picture of the red herring. So that was an example of that teamwork between the different linguists and technologists. So as I say, interpreting is a complex process, and training interpreters is an even more complex process, which is why we wanted to break it down into different skills and try to give some online resources to help people who are engaged in this. The motto being to walk before you can run. Orcit.